We're heading into the closing stages now for the 1UP Turbo Truck Series season for 2022, and we're here at the beautiful Nashville Superspeedway for race number 17 out of 20 for the Turbo Trucks in 2022. Alongside me in the booth for today's 60-lap main event is Duke Ansack once again, and this, based on what we saw in practice, this race is going to be a very interesting one. A lot of jockeying for positions apparently getting ready to take place, and pit strategy is going to shape who wins this race, I'm sure. But the main focus is the action on the track, and we're going to see a lot of it, I imagine, after what we saw in the earlier sessions.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a full inclusion type of day. You know, the driver's going to be clearly involved like they always are, and they're going to have to be really working it all day, trying to battle through traffic and choose which line they want and all that on the track. And then, of course, it's going to come down to the teams and the pits as well. So keep yourself out of trouble today and make sure you have a good pit stop, and that's going to be the key to victory when it's all said and done.
Looking now at the starting lineup for today's 60-lap race, Alex Vigeparub dips down to the Turbo Truck Series for a fun weekend at Nashville, and he plants the number 83 Chevrolet on pole position for today's race. Kev Shearer, one of the great drivers in the field, not in the playoffs, lines up alongside him, followed by the two championship protagonists, Zachary Bilson and Ryan Griffin, third and fourth. Earl Sear rounds out the top five, and right behind him, Dalton Sade, after that incredible run at Michigan last time out, he lines up seventh. Nikki Martinez also makes a dip down to the Truck Series, and she starts ninth. And a lot of big names starting up front, but a few starting in the midfields. But I fully expect them to be able to make their way from there to the front pretty easily. After all, this is Nashville we're talking about.
Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic race for all those guys, you know, following a lot of momentum after Michigan and really keeping it going there for all these guys. And, of course, Alex Vigeparub dipping down from the Nitro National Series with a lot of momentum there as well. So he's going to be one to watch out for today. But you're right. I think that the winner could come from anywhere in this field, especially when you've got playoff guys scattered everywhere. So this could be an interesting day for sure, and another day where the points could swing if mistakes are made.
So with that being said, we've got 42 trucks lined up on the grid, and we are ready to bring you 60 laps of racing action from the Nashville Superspeedway. This is, as always, the 1UP Turbo Truck Series, and we're getting ready to bring you the action, so stay tuned because you're not going to want to miss a second of any of the action set to take place over the next 60 laps. The field rolls off turn 4, heading into the Geico restart zone. Green flag time here at Nashville. We're underway here at Nashville, and Alex Vigeparub spins the tires terribly on the start. He's going to lose out big time to the outside line, and Kev Shearer now takes off with the lead, but for how much longer? Because Ryan Griffin dives to his inside for the lead. This is a chaotic start on the first lap.
Yeah, we've got a ton of chaos in the back now because that whole bottom lane ended up not being able to go on the start. And they're still side by side for the lead. He got the 29. He's going to take it on the bottom. Oh, maybe not, because 02 coming back on the top, except he gets side drafted in the middle of the corner. And now the 29 truck way out front. And this 83 is still having some problems, I think.
Yeah, word has it. We're being told he missed the shift on the start, and that may cause some more mechanical issues for the rest of the day. Look how much he's holding up everybody behind him. This is not going to be a good day, I feel, for this 83 team. However, it's allowing some new players into the front of the field that we don't normally see there. Nick Breeding in the 47, he started 21st, and he's knocking on the door of a top 10. Earl Sears back here. Got Jonathan Lawson now up challenging for a top 5 spot, but Ryan Griffin leads the way at Nashville with Austin Runkle second. Noah Hart moves up to third.
Yeah, and something interesting about this track is that it's a lot more narrow than it seems. You know, it looks like any old typical mile-and-a-half D-shaped oval track that you go to, but it's also it's pretty narrow in comparison to a lot of those, and it's concrete, so it really changes a lot of the dynamic of the track. You don't race here like you race anywhere else.
And Noah Hart moves up to second spot. He looks like he's going to try and challenge Ryan Griffin for the lead for the first time. Noah Hart trying to take the lead for the first time in a 1UP Turbo Truck Series event. Kev Shearer makes a deep dive into turn 1 to get ahead of teammate Austin Runkle. Griffin goes up the track a little bit. That allows Hart to the inside. Noah Hart trying to take the lead from Ryan Griffin. Something we haven't seen very often at the mile and a half is
sent it in there.
Yeah, and that's Noah Hart through to the lead here at Nashville.
And Kev Shearer is going to follow him and maybe have enough momentum to pass him down the front straightaway. He went to the bottom, and they're side by side across the line. Of course, Noah Hart led that lap on the outside, but the 0-2 of Kev Shearer looking really good, and he's going to try to send it into turn 1 and take it away. He does it.
First lap led of his career for Noah Hart, but it might not last for very long because Kev Shearer is on a mission. He's come so close so many times in his short career. Could this be the first of many wins for him? But he might not keep this lead for long either because Ryan Griffin's on the attack once again. Back to the inside, trying to take the lead away.
Yeah, it's a momentum race right now. If you can keep your momentum, you can really make a charge. And if you lose your momentum, you're going to lose quite a lot of spots. As you see, Noah Hart's all the way back down into 5th place now, and Kev Shearer has lost the lead to Ryan Griffin, our points leader. So yet another great run from Ryan Griffin. Of course, Kev Shearer, his truck looks like it might be in the playoffs based on the markings, but I assure you he is not. It's just his normal truck design, and we're going back to the 83 here, still struggling with that race truck.
We're hearing he's down a cylinder on that 83 already. That is going to be a miserable afternoon for him. He's struggling on the straightaways to keep up with the rest of the pack. He's already a second behind 41st. It's really hard to see for this 83 team who started on the pole, had such a good run going, but missed the shift on the start, and that made all the difference.
Yeah, that's just a tough situation right there. Not a lot you can do other than, I guess, making that shift happen. But you start on the pole, you have a great weekend up to this point, and then it all ends right before the start-finish line on the first lap. So that's just a tough break. Meanwhile, somebody who is having an another excellent run is Ryan Griffin leading this race, except Kev Shearer wants to say something about it in the 0-2. He's going to try to dive down into turn 3 and take the lead away from the 29.
It looks to me like the Kings Motorsports trio of Bilson, Shearer, and Runkle are going to try and gang up on Ryan Griffin here on the inside. The 02's through, the 81's going to try and follow him through, and the 18's not too far behind either. These three are very potent trucks, and they're looking to cement their position out front. And don't look now, but Francois Chastain's back there as well in the 5th spot. He won at Michigan last time out, so he's another one with a big string of momentum. He's up to 4th in the points. We'll see if he can make further gains.
Yeah, and Bilson, remember, is in a championship battle right now with Griffin, and he just passed him, and now he's going up there to try to pass his teammate. He doesn't lead this lap, but he's got the preferred line going on into turn 1 right here. He's on the bottom, so that's going to be really good for Bilson. If he can get up there and kind of stay up there and stay in this fight, he could maybe pack the pressure on Ryan Griffin in this race, which is something that really needs to be done if he wants to have any shot of catching him after this run he's been having in the playoffs so far.
But I don't think Kev Shearer is willing to roll over and play second fiddle to his teammate, Bilson. Shearer needs and wants a win. He's been saying so in weeks previous. He's done everything he wants to do in this series except win a race, and that's something he really wants to do, and he's got the truck to do it. I think he's got the fastest truck in the field today, honestly. He's doing a very nice job so far, and we're only on lap 11, but he's already put his stamp on this race, doing a very nice job. He and the 29, I think, are the two favorites.
Yeah, I think that Kev Shearer has been the only one so far that's been able to get up to the lead, and then he hasn't been able to keep the lead, but he has been able to be within range to kind of talk about him being up front in the lead right here. You see other guys that like Hart back there, who was in the lead and he fell back a little bit, and even the 29 has been falling back as well. And of course we see Bilson back down to 4th place at this point, so we'll see how the 02 is able to kind of maintain this position and see if that truck is in fact strong enough to maybe stay up there for a long period of time in this race. We're on lap 12 going on to lap 13 here, so there's still plenty of racing to be done, a pit stop to be had, so this thing is not over by any means. Kev Shearer still has some work to do.
An excellent point being made as Ryan Griffin goes for the lead once again. Pit stops are going to be a factor in this race, and I fully expect these guys to just split this race in half, pit around the halfway mark, lap 30, to get the most out of fresh tires while you can, because tires mean a lot here despite this being a concrete racetrack. So, as Ryan Griffin retakes the lead from Kev Shearer, I fully expect these guys to come in around lap 29 to 30 just to make full use of those 4 fresh good years.
Yeah, so it seems like that bottom lane right now is the preferred lane distinctively in this race, and also the leads have been getting longer and longer. As soon as they get the lead, they kind of jump out there, and we're watching Alex Verstappen again. He could become a bit of a factor in this race, not in the way, of course, he wanted to be a factor in this race, but being so slow out on the track, just trying to nurse it home, he will definitely get caught by these leaders at some point, and will likely wreak some havoc a little bit. So this will be an interesting situation once they catch him.
He's 9 seconds off of 41st place, 16 off of the lead. He's just trying to nurse that sick engine home for the rest of the day at this point. But Ryan Griffin continues to lead, as you see Lilith Onyx actually have the fastest lap of the race at a 31.09. That's a bonus point for her in that 38 team in their chase for a owner's championship. But as things run right now, Ryan Griffin holds the lead of about 0.3 of a second over the battling teammates of Runkle and Bilson, and as Jonathan Lawson sticks his nose in there as well.
Yeah, so that 18 has moved up to second place. He's been hanging around, making a little bit of noise there. He hasn't gotten to the lead yet, but he might have a shot here as he's closing in on the leader. And notice Kev Shearer has fallen all the way back down in a 6th place. He's still part of this front group, but not where he's used to being so far in this one.
And give a tip of the cap as well to that teal truck in 5th place, Brian Grigsby, Griffin's teammate. He started back in 27th, and he's made his way in just 17 laps up into the top 5, battling for that 5th spot now with Kev Shearer. A strong run for that 92, a winner, of course, this season at Canadian Tire. He'd love to get a win on an oval. This might be a good chance for him, as Austin Runkle goes for the lead on Griffin off of 4.
Yeah, that's pretty good right there. Good move, and it's going to put that 29 up in the outside lane, which is not where you want to be right now. He's going to get freight trained a little bit. We'll see. He's able to get that good corner entry, kind of dive it in there, and then he slides up the track, and he's going to stay to the outside of the 21, which is better than a lot of others have done. As we've noted, that 29 truck is looking really great today. However, coming through turns 3 and 4, I'd expect that he's going to want to try to fall in behind the 21 and not lose any more spots. But Kev Shearer is coming on the bottom lane now, and it's going to make the 29 lose even more positions. So Kev Shearer back up into the top 3 going into turn 1 here, and it's forcing Ryan Griffin to stay on that outside lane. Meanwhile, a battle for the lead. The 21 on the bottom lane is making a move for the lead for the first time in this race, and the 18 is also going to be stuck on that outside.
We've yet to see Jonathan Lawson lead a lap this season, but this could be the moment for him. Jonathan Lawson, the Norwegian, missed the playoffs, but he's doing a great job today. As he comes off of turn 4, Lawson leads at lap 19, entering lap 20. Strong run for the 21 JHM Racing Chevrolet.
Yeah, really good run right here. But like you said, and that 21 is looking good out front right now. We got a 3-wide situation with Ryan Griffin on the outside. That was dangerous with Bilson below. That was the top 2 in the championship in a 3-wide situation with this 92. And that could have been disastrous for them, but they make it out without a scratch, I believe. And now we've got another battle for the lead. Kev Shearer trying to bring his truck back to the front here. He led that lap. He's going into turn 1 in the preferred line, and he's probably going to be able to clear for the lead now that they're through the corner, and he does.
We've got some new players now at the front of the field. Lawson's up there. Robert Weaver in the 6 truck. Grigsby in the 92. They're going to try and make it 3 wide here going into turn 3. Going to be a very interesting situation here. Grigsby dives it to the bottom. He's going to try and open a hole for his teammate to come through. The 2 Fingai Saitomi Motorsports trucks having a strong day. And looks like Grigsby's going to move up into the 3rd place behind Bilson and Shearer. And now Ryan Griffin's going to try and dive down to the bottom, get underneath Lawson, and follow his teammate up in the 4.
And sometimes the person on the outside lane in turn 1 or turn 3, really, they just struggle quite a lot. And it looks like that bottom lane is just absolutely moving past them. It's incredible to watch that. And we're looking back here now at the 56 truck. What's going on with him?
what's going on with him is he's on a big charge through this field.
Yeah.
We've only been a third of the way through this race. Brett Bishop started last in this race. He's knocking on the door for top 10, but boy, look at this beehive from third on back. These guys are desperate to try and get on with this and try and catch the lead, which has swapped hands once again. Zachary Bilson back to the point.
Yeah, and you're right. They're running single file right now, and they're starting to drive away just a little bit. And everybody else is double wide here, so they definitely want to try to get single file and try to catch back up to those leaders so they don't lose touch. It looks like they might be able to do it here if the 29 drops down, and he will. So hopefully they'll be able to catch back up to the leaders, keep that lead swap they had going on alive. And meanwhile, yeah, with everybody's tires starting to kind of fall off at this point, and we're getting close to that halfway mark where people are going to probably want to start pitting. It's getting a little bit rough and a little bit dangerous back in the pack. And Kev Sheeran to the bottom, man, a crazy move in the middle of the corner. He just throttled up and drove away, and he's going to be clear of the lead way far ahead, a truck length ahead by the start-finish line right there. An amazing move from the O2 truck.
But what I don't think he wants to see is that 29 making a similar pass on Bilson, because that 29 is probably it's the second fastest truck here, second only to this O2. And I don't think Kev wants to fight the 29 for this race win, because if there's anybody you don't want to fight on the mile and a half, it's Ryan Griffin. He's been very strong on them as of late, and he's already caught up to the back of Shearer for the race lead. And I think that I saw in the distance Alex Vergepperub about to be lapped.
Yeah, so we'll see. I wouldn't be shocked to see maybe some of these guys, if they before they catch that 83, maybe dive down into the pit lane, don't even take part in what's about to happen, or maybe Alex will go down to the pit out of respect for the leaders. We'll see what happens. It might not work out in the strategy because we're not quite halfway yet. So if there's any question, you definitely want to make it to halfway before you make that pit stop. So we might not see any of that. In fact, I'm starting to doubt that we'll see any of that. They're pretty close to the 83 right now. This is going to be interesting to see who that 83 holds up. I'm sure that he's going to have to be on either the top or the bottom of this racetrack, and we'll see who else is there. And maybe when they catch him, they might not be able to make a move. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, he's fairly competently fast in the corners, but it's on the straights where it really bites him, that lack of engine power. And as they power off turn 4, he gives way to Ryan Griffin on the top of the racetrack, and it looks like the leaders are going to file past without incident.
Well, that's good. So nobody was double wide in the top 5. So that's going to be okay. And the 83 actually making a little bit of a gain through the middle of the corner on these guys. But, of course, on the straightaway, like you said, just no power in that truck. So we'll see who's going to be stuck on the outside. So far, they've all gotten single file before the 83, before they've had to pass him. So that's good for all these trucks that are racing. He's just keeping to the outside lane. Of course, he's got a teammate coming up here as well. No problem there. And it looks like everybody's going to be all right this time by.
And a battle for third brewing between Riley Hooper and the 00. He started back in 23rd, and he's trying to make a move for the third spot on Kev Shearer. A very strong run out of the 00, and he needs a good day to make gains in the points battles. It looks like we have our first taker on the pit road here, and it's the number 3, I believe, of Earl Sear. He's the first one to hit pit road, and it looks like Alex is actually going to follow him in. So we've got our first set of green flag pit stops already underway here.
All right, so they're pitting on lap 29, crossing lap 30. So that's pretty much right on the edge there of being at halfway. I can only imagine that they'll probably make it to the end of this race on fuel based on how far these guys are going. Or the people that are staying on the track at least will have gone 31 laps once they make their pit stop. So
yeah, Dalton Sate also pits with them.
Yep, so Dalton Sate in. We got Earl Sear in. We've got the 18 now staying out on the track. I think that maybe short pitting right here might have been the move to maybe gain some time. We'll see about how it works itself out. But we got everybody else coming out, and this is a chaotic pit lane right here. So pitting first, I think, was a really great move because you get a clear pit lane. You pit first, obviously, so you're going to have the freshest tires for that lap. And these guys are all going to also be dealing with people coming out of their pit stalls. So this is going to be very interesting as they come down the pit lane.
Yeah, Austin Runkle stayed out a little while to lead this lap, but everybody is now on their way through to pit road. Here's Earl Sear. He's the first one to have exited the pits. Dalton State's a little ways behind him. Alex Verjeparub, of course, quite a ways back of them. And here's Ryan Griffin exiting the pit lane. We'll see what happens when Earl Sear comes around.
Yeah, where is that 3 truck going to be in relation to the 29? He was running in the top 10. I'm not exactly sure where when they had come into the pit. We'll see. Looks like he is nowhere in sight of this 29. Oh, there he is. He's running about maybe 2 seconds back, 1.5 seconds back maybe, and the 00's passing.
Yeah, he's alongside the 00 Hooper, and he's going to get past as well. So Hooper is going to maybe be in that second. Here comes everybody else out of the pit. So here's a good indicator of where everybody's going to cycle out. And, yeah, Griffin's through to the lead, obviously. Actually, yeah,
wow,
Griffin...
got a huge lead now.
Yeah, Griffin is through to the race lead now. We've got... And then from there on back, we've got Hooper in second. Earl Sear third now. And, yeah, you're right. It seems pitting early was the way to go for Earl Sear. He's jumped about 6 trucks doing that.
Yeah, and not only has he gained that much time, or he's gained those positions, but he's gained a lot of time on people. This race has become quite spread out now, and he's following in the tracks of that 00. So he's going to be able to catch up to this 29, maybe, if he's able to stay within the draft here, and have a real good shot at trying to battle for the lead. Because look how far back 4th place is, 2.59. Last time by, we'll see the updated number as they cross the line here, but that's a long way back, and these guys are 3 wide. Man, oh man, what a battle!
Yeah, that's Logan Jones in that 94. He started 39th in this race, and he's knocking on the door of 6th place. And, oh, they make contact.
Wow!
Between Chastain and Bilson, they make it through cleanly. Let's see if they trade any more paint off of 2. They do not. Looks like a solid tussle for looks like the 7th spot. Settled in favor, actually, James Ellison, who got around both of them. But Riley Hooper now chasing down Ryan Griffin for the lead, and you can see on the pylon, Kev Shearer had a rough pit stop. He's down in 18th place now. After that, he is going to have to fight his way through the field for the rest of the day to try and make something happen out of it. But right now, the focus is out front. Kev Shearer, or I should say Riley Hooper, chasing down Ryan Griffin for the race lead here at Nashville.
Yeah, that's really tough for Kev Shearer. We were talking about him. He had one of the fastest trucks in this race in the first half of it. But now, after the pit stop, the crew didn't execute or the driver didn't execute, whatever it was, he has dropped back and is now not much of a factor so far. So we'll see what happens. But Hooper, however, is a big factor, a huge factor in the mirror of the 29. And he is absolutely caught up to Ryan Griffin right now, and he is about to try to make a move into turn 3. We'll see. He's got up to his quarter panel, puts a little side draft on him, dives down into the corner. They're side by side. And let's see what happens down the straightaway. Oh yeah, 00 is going to look really good out of the corner. Middle of the corner is where the bottom lane really starts to grip up and look good, and he's going to clear him down the front straightaway. Nice move from the 00.
And of course, this all is going to allow Earl Sear to close up as well, since these two were side by side for so long. But as for everybody else, I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to close up. But it's just a matter of how long it takes them to do that. Because Brian Grigsby in 4th is 2 seconds off the lead. We'll see what it is at the line. But here's Griffin fighting back on Hooper on the bottom of the racetrack. Them fighting like this is really going to allow all these guys to close out.
Yeah, I think that everybody's going to be back in this battle by the end of the race, or a lot earlier, in fact, because we were watching, we were keeping track of the time from 4th place, and he was 2.59 back that first lap after the pit stop, and now here on lap 38, he is 1.59 back from the leader. So definitely he's chopped a whole second off of that, but because of the battling, because of the speed, maybe because they're all kind of pushing each other, as you can see as you look back through the field. They're all pretty single file, not a lot of battles back there. It's just pushing and pushing and pushing. And I believe that those guys will all catch up to the leaders at some point in this race, and we'll get that cycle going again, and we'll see who has the fastest truck for the last maybe 15 laps of this thing.
I feel the fastest truck in this race is going to have to fight through a lot of traffic to get back to the front. That 02 is still back in 18th position, about at least 6 seconds off the lead. But the good news for him is he's got a lot of trucks single file ahead of him. He can try and work his way around, but it's going to be a big task to make it happen. I won't count him out this early, because we got a battle for the lead between the 29 and the 00 once again, as Earl Sears starts to creep back into the picture.
Yeah, and this will be big because they're side by side down the straightaway, and that's really the time that you're using your power and you're using your aerodynamics to get up to speed down the straightaway. And if you are simultaneously punching a huge hole through the air when you're side by side with another truck. So that all that does is slow both of you down. It doubles the amount of drag on both those trucks, and it's just going to make it so that you're a lot slower. And that's why people who are farther behind catch up so much faster. When you're side by side with somebody, it's not as big of an impact in the corners, which is where they've been making most of the move. But the back straightaway really hurt them that time, and they're gonna have some company real soon in this one. I'm sure of it.
The 3's back there. The 92 is there. Austin Runkle's going to try and make a run. And James Ellison and Dalton Sate, they're side by side for 6. They could be factors in this race, just like Sate was at Michigan last time out. And speaking of Michigan, Ryan Griffin dives to the inside of Riley Hooper to try and take the lead back again. It's just going to be a battle worth keeping an eye on for the rest of the race. And you're right. I think it's not just going to be these two fighting for the win. It's going to be those two behind them, and it's going to be a lot more as this pack closes up again.
Yeah, the 92 has been driving away from the rest of the group that's back there. However, everybody else is kind of staying pretty tight together within a couple tenths of each other. But yeah, the 92, as you could tell in that great shot we had on the front straightaway, the 92 is closing in, and he's going to push that 3 truck all the way up there. In fact, he's going to go right by the 3 truck down the back straightaway here. So they're going to be side by side for a moment, and that's going to just allow everybody to catch up even faster. So we'll see what happens for the rest of this thing. See if this 92 has anything to say about it. He's been pretty quick. We'll see what happens.
And that's his teammate leading the way, and I'm sure he'd love nothing more than to upstage his teammate once again at Nashville. As Grigsby goes through for 3rd place on Earl Sear, that drops the 3 back to 4th. And you're right, these 4 have pretty much settled this race amongst themselves for the moment. 2 Fords, 2 Chevrolets out front. First Toyota's Austin Runkle in 5th. These guys are going to have a lot of racing left, though. We still have 17 laps to go.
Yeah, so this is an interesting situation here because of that teammate factor. You know, does the 92 want to steal that win away from Ryan Griffin, as we see battle for the lead between these two, the 00 and the 9 or the 29 that we've been seeing all day? And now the 92 is going low, and he's going to put Ryan Griffin down to 3rd place. So the question is, do you allow him to have that lead because he's a teammate, because he will benefit so much in the playoffs to gain more points on his competitors, or do you take it for yourself? Right now it looks like 92 is going to take it for himself.
And keep in mind, Brian Grigsby is going to be back in this truck next year. Ryan Griffin isn't. He's going to the Nitro National Series next year. So Grigsby has a lot more to prove than Ryan Griffin. And he's going for the lead off of 2. He gets around Riley Hooper, moved to 92 to the point with 15 to go.
Boy, that is a great comeback from this 92 truck. Grigsby has just been excellent. Driving back up, he gained more than 2.5 seconds on these guys after the pit stops all by himself, and drove up there and took the lead. So we'll see if anybody can touch him. He's starting to drive away. We've seen, though, that the leader is just pushing through all that air, is not really able to stay out there for very long. And of course, Ryan Griffin is going to be up there trying to fight back and try to reclaim that lead position over his teammate.
And you see Kev Shearer now holds the fastest lap of the race. He's trying to charge his way through the field, set a new fastest lap while doing so. That's a bonus point for him, and he will probably hold on to it for the rest of the race. And it looks like now he's actually moved up into the top 10 already. Around James Ellison, he's actually just outside the top 10 and 11th now. Next truck he passes will be for 10th place.
Wow, so that's going to be something to watch out for. I don't know if there's enough time left in this thing for that, but we'll see. Meanwhile, the 18 has caught the back of this group right here, so he is kind of driven away from the 6. So now we've got 5 trucks in this front battle, all trying to beat that 92 out there of Grigsby, and just a great job that he has done so far of staying out front while they battle for 2nd place.
didn't get the opportunity to mention, but for a moment there was a Fingai Saitomi Motorsports 1-2 at the front of the field with Grigsby leading Griffin, but now that Riley Hooper is through, it's a 1-3 for the organization. They've already become the first organization to win in all 3 of 1UP's main series, but they're looking for more, but they might not keep it as Riley Hooper goes for the lead, coming to 11 laps to go.
Yeah, this is a really interesting battle right here, and the 00 is going to challenge that 92 and take the lead away. Oh, and there's a little bit of a checkup in the middle of the corner right there for everybody else, so that could allow the 00 to drive away a little bit. It looks like he has 3 or 4 truck lengths ahead now, and the 29 gets by his own teammate right there with the big push from the 18, who has jumped into this battle. Between everybody. Earl Sear has not been able to make any moves. He's kind of just been behind everybody for this whole time, and but every time somebody catches it, they'll just pass him. So
remember, he does have the oldest tires of anybody in this group.
It's true.
But as Ryan Griffin makes a move for the lead once again with Austin Runkle pushing him along, and don't look now, but it looks like the back half of the top 10 is catching up, and that includes Kev Shearer, who's up to 9th. He got past Logan Jones. He's now challenging Allison Rain for the 8th spot. This is going to be really close for Kev Shearer. He's gotten past Allison Rain.
Ow.
This is going to be real close for this 02 if he can get up there.
And that would be incredible. He just needs to get up to that group and stay on the bottom. If he gets pushed to the outside, it's going to be all over. But I do think he's got a shot to get up there and join this group and possibly challenge for the win. I mean, he's definitely going to be able to have a shot at the top 5 after that bad moment on pit lane. And with these guys battling up here, the 18 and the 29 and the 00 all kind of going side by side, and now the 3 is making a charge after I mentioned he must have heard me. Talking bad about him up here in the booth, but yeah, he's going 3 wide actually for second place. So this is incredible right now. This battle for second place that we have, and the 18 is loving it, just driving away.
Yeah, I was gonna say that battling for seconds just gonna allow Austin Runkle to drive away further and further. We've got 8 laps to go from Nashville Superspeedway, and there you see Kev Shearer. He's gaining on this group of 7. It could be a group of 8 pretty soon for this race win, because Sear and Grigsby are working together to get past Griffin as Runkle leads Hooper, coming to 7 laps to go.
Boy, oh boy, you know, that is like the Jaws music is playing right now. I'm sure that the spotters are all saying that 02 is on the move right now, and to watch out, to just hold steady here. Try to stay in that position, block as good as you can. However, the 00 is going to the front right here. He's going to put the 18 on the outside, and that line of trucks on the bottom is so tight right now. There's no openings for them to be able to get in, and they're going 3 wide for it. Man, oh man.
That is what Kev Shearer wants to see. He wants to see 2 and 3 wide in front of him. He's already up to 6th. He's getting to try and make it 2 passes in 1 corner for 4th. Kev Shearer could be on pace to winning this thing after coming from 18th to the lead in the final few laps. We're coming to 5 laps to go. The 02's up to 4th now.
Boy, and he's already gotten by the one who could be his toughest competitor, and Ryan Griffin, that 29 truck, is stuck back there a little bit right now. So now he's got to pass the 3, the 92, and the 00 for the win. I think the 00 is going to be the biggest competition right there.
Oh, but Weaver makes a move to the inside. Wow. This could be Kev Shearer's downfall right here. He's got to maintain momentum, stay within striking distance. He might have to slot in behind the 6 if he needs to, but that might be a price he needs to pay as Grigsby goes for the lead on Hooper.
Yeah, so that's not going to be good for the 02 right there. He's stuck on the outside, and now Earl Sear goes to the bottom for second place with some help from that 6 truck of Robert Weaver behind him. So this thing is coming down to the wire right here, and Weaver's going 3 wide. He's on a mission. He wants to try to win this race right now. And meanwhile, the 29 of Ryan Griffin is coming back up through the pack, and Kev Shearer is starting to fall behind.
Coming to 3 laps to go from Nashville. Brian Grigsby's got a big lead. Can he hold on to it for the remaining few miles here at Nashville? Weaver trying to get underneath Sear for second. Ryan Griffin's giving him a good shove. Kev's back to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get by the 00 Hooper. 3 laps to go. We'll see what the gap is at the line here. It's 0.4 of a second.
Wow, Robert Weaver might have a good shot of winning this thing unless the 29 drops low, and he does. He's going to the bottom here. So let's see what happens. And he's got Kev Shearer behind him as well. This is going to be a very fascinating battle to the checkered flag in a couple laps, because we've got our two big dogs are back in this thing right now. Kev Shearer right there and Ryan Griffin both trying to battle together to get to the front. What's going to happen? What's going to give in this thing?
Coming to 2 laps to go in this race, 3.5 miles. Shearer gets underneath Griffin and Weaver for second. This could be exactly what the O2 wants. But he's got to maintain focus. That 92 is quite a ways ahead, and you'll only have 1 more lap to do it to make it happen, because we're coming to the white flag this time.
If he's going to have a shot, he's got to clear the 29, or vice versa. It's going to have to be in this corner. He needs that first couple of corners in turn 1 and 2 to be able to get the lead. He's got to drop down, throttle up off the corner. It's not going to be enough. He gets side drafted, and that's going to be really good for the 92, who takes the white flag, and he's going to have a clear shot to the win. Let's see if Kev Shearer can do anything about it. He's clear now.
Kev Shearer's got 0.4 of a second to make up on the final lap. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Shearer's going to have to make a big dive in the 3. We've seen him do that before. Down into turn 3 we go for the final time. Shearer does make a deep dive, but I think Grigsby's just far enough ahead for it not to matter. Coming off of turn 4 for the final time, Brian Grigsby gets his first oval win in the Turbo Truck Series and takes the checkered flag at Nashville Superspeedway. His second career win comes on the concrete at Nashville. Kev Shearer 0.2 of a second away from his first career win, but what a charge he gave. From 18th to 2nd in the final 15 laps, he'll have to settle for second of what could have been for that O2 team. Austin Runkle just barely beat Ryan Griffin to the line for 3rd. Robert Weaver comes home 5th ahead of Zachary Bilson 6th. Logan Jones started 39th in this race. He finished 7th today. Allison Rain 8th, Earl Sear 9th, Riley Hooper fell all the way back to 10th at the end, but that race was just as much a showing of Brian Grigsby's defense as it was for Kev Shearer's offense. That was an incredible charge through the field Kev Shearer put on. Shame it came up just a little bit short, but that just shows his determination, and he'll be ready for his first win whenever that comes.
Yeah, man, oh man, if he hadn't gotten stuck on the outside lane and dropped back, in that charge to the front, he might be going to victory lane right now, but he's not. And the 92 just did a great job. Grigsby all day, really, really fast truck. He made a bit of a comeback in this thing as well after the pit stop, coming back from more than 2.5 seconds behind the leader to take the lead away. And then once he got up there, he was hard to beat. And of course, he's driving that same team as the 29, who is so strong today. So a great job from Grigsby and everybody involved. What a fantastic race we just saw.
And if you think this race was fantastic, just wait till you see where we're going next time. It's Talladega Superspeedway for the 1UP Turbo Truck Series in 2 weeks' time. Get ready for some 3 and 4 wide racing action at Talladega to close out the season. For us, we've only got 3 races remaining, but I think Ryan Griffin just put a stamp of authority on his championship with this run here today. So, from Duke Anzac and from myself as well, we say goodbye from Nashville Superspeedway. Congrats to Brian Grigsby. He really earned this one here in Music City.